Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show. I'll be breaking down the stock market. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. And now, let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back once again, guys. And you can see the Nasdaq actually fell more than 1%, led by Micron, which was down, I think, 12, 13%. But if you look at it, I mean, it's not actually a crash. We're seeing a lot of rotation taking place. Look at right here. Dow is pretty flat. It was actually up on the day. We got Nasdaq going down. It was down, I think, over 3% at one point. I actually played calls to the upside, and it was fantastic. And now it's only down for now. It's only down 1.89%. It's 2:36 p.m. Eastern time. So we still got a couple of minutes left before the market actually gets to closing. S&P down 1.25%. Russell down 0.90%. Nothing crazy happening in the market. 11 sectors. You can see defensive move, consumer defensive. We got real estate, healthcare, utilities, energy led the way on top, and tech took a massive beating today, down 3.43%. Stock market map. Well, you will see a different picture here. You can see these semiconductor names and then chip names, they're all down. Few names that were getting beaten down, like CRM. We got Microsoft. They're catching a bit here. Walmart. So we're just seeing a lot of rotation happening in the market. Market sentiment, you can see 36.6% are bullish, 39.4% are bearish, and 24.1% are neutral here in this market. But what's interesting, I mean, it's just one day of selling, and look at this, guys. I mean, we're back on almost getting back into extreme fear. So market sitting near all-time highs, and this thing is saying that uh, the fear is back in market, and we're about to hit extreme fear. So we'll see how that works out. But let's get right into S&P 500. All right, so a couple of interesting things happening here on SPY. You can see we had a gap down. We were not able to fill the gap, and we're just sitting on top of the 50-day moving average, which is at pretty much exactly 732, right? And you can see this was the previous low, and so far we have not taken out that previous low from just a couple of days ago right here. So if this low is taken out, which is around 724, 725, maybe even down here if you want to go all the way down 722, then S&P will come down all the way down to that 716, possibly down to 712, 709. That area we had a lot of trading right here. And at some point, we will come back and retest these highs, which is going to be right around 695-ish to 700, which is going to be a weekly, monthly retest of that breakout. And I think a lot of buyers, including myself, will welcome that, right here if that comes in later on. But as of right now, all we have here a gap down and a lot of rotation happening in the market. And what's happening here, high a lower high, right? And we're just chopping here. So until we break this low, I'm not gonna say just market just gonna crash and burn and go down to zero. We have to wait and see what market does. As of right now, if the market comes back up and closes the gap at 743, watch out. That could be a rejection area to watch. Also, keep that in mind. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming. Now, is that going to play out? I don't know, guys. I mean, anytime you get bearish, looking at these patterns, especially bear patterns, they rarely play out, right? Especially on S&P and Nasdaq and pretty much on all of them right now, right? So watch out for that if this 50-day breaks and perhaps we take out these lows from a couple days ago, then we would be heading lower. But if this thing comes back up and holds, let's say 743, 744, the 20-day moving average here, then watch out for continuation and possibly a break over this high right here from a few days ago. We could be going into all-time highs once again, but remain a little bit especially when market gapping down, just a little bit cautious here. Just remain a little cautious because if this low is taken out, market will be heading for a new low. And then if you want to buy, that would be a perfect area, especially when it comes to a deeper pullback around 95 to 700 here on S&P. On Triple Q, now it's down over 3%. So a fantastic day here, but mainly led by Micron and all the chip names, right? SNDK is also down today. And we still have the similar pattern high, a lower high here, maybe even a double top, head and shoulder pattern, or whatever you want to call it. We had a gap down, and this is just a low. We hit a low of the day right now, guys. So 714 is breaking. The next key zone is 709, and then we could be retesting. Don't forget, we came down here. We did not close these gaps, and forget about the retest right here. The previous all-time highs were pretty far away from that, right? Almost 70, $80. As of right now, if this thing goes back up, watch out for rejection at 728, 732, and 734.39. Gap full reversal to the downside can also happen. Uh, if we get under 714, we stay below that into closing today. Tomorrow morning, I'm expecting 709, maybe even possibly 700 into the 50-day moving average. So watch out for that here on Nasdaq. All right, so just a quick reminder to those are actually really serious about trading. If you want to join the Patreon, get all types of trade ideas, head over to Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And if you want to go for that annual membership, you do save some money, but hang on, if you want to save some more money, 4th of July weekend is coming, and I'll be running a special for that. All right, so on Dow, it's pretty flat, and we just hit a brand new all-time high not too long ago, like 3 days ago, and we're just coming off from that all-time high. So if this thing holds up over the 20-day here, 512 right here, watch out for continuation back up to the upside, and this is somewhat of a mini bull flag. And some of the stocks are running, right? Some of the stocks that are beaten up, especially CRM and Microsoft, few other names, these stocks are just beaten down to death. And if they rise and a chip, you know, they fall, obviously you're going to see rotation, and you're seeing rotation, happening in the market. It's not, sell, sell, sell on all the sectors. That's not happening right now, which is a healthy market. You want to see rotation, and especially how much these names went up, especially memory chips. They need to come down. And I see the headline today, like SMH is down, not even under 600, and people are saying, oh, it's a bloody day here for the memory chips and all that. No way. I mean, just one day. Remember how much they went up and how quick they went up, and it just one day. If there is like multiple days of selling and then you see like some new low forming, maybe that's gonna be an opportunity. But it just one day, we haven't actually taken out that low from just a couple days ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, right? 512 would be key zone resistance level to watch right here, right about 517.68 here. If we can crack over that, we're going back up to all-time highs here on Dow. IWM only down just over 1%. And if you look at my screen, coming from the highest high, which we hit an all-time high yesterday. So this thing is due for a little bit of pullback. I think it's just healthy. But as of right now, no signs of like massive crash here on IWM. And remember, we had no forward guidance from the Fed. What's going to be the future here? So yes, there might be a hike. There might be no hike. There might be a cut. I don't know what's the plan. Only Kevin Warsh, he knows, and he just took the office, so we don't know. But so far, especially when you look at small caps, they're actually reacting positively to the Fed meeting, even though the initial reaction was down, right? And now you can see all-time highs. You're just coming back. So 293 right here, 292.88, holding this previous zone. As long as we're over that, stay bullish. If that breaks, watch out for it drop down to 290, 287, and from there it can come all the way down to 283-ish 50-day moving average, and there is support at 281 as well. All right, so VIX is up over 11%, and we know how that works, guys. I mean, this thing was dying down here, and what happened? This thing popped. Same thing happened here, and very quickly came down. So even though this thing is trading around at 19 bucks, look at how far this thing came over 20, but gave back some of those gains. Watch out if this thing remains over 18. We gotta be really, be cautious in the market because of how this thing is reacting as of right now. As long as we're over 18, watch out for 20 plus here on VIX. And if this high is taken out, just like the market, if it takes out the low from a few days ago, this thing takes out 23, watch out. There's going to be some trouble ahead here. for the S&P 500. And not to mention quickly, just want to look at the dollar before we wrap up this video. That thing is up. That's why you're seeing gold and everything else is dropping. So dollar on a monster move to the upside. And if you look at my screen, we did break over these levels right here, 100, 101. As long as the dollar remains over that, watch out for some pressure in the S&P 500. But if this thing comes down, gets a rejection and takes out, even if it gets down to like 100-ish right here, that's going to relieve some pressure from the S&P and even Nasdaq, and you're going to see even gold and silver flying in the market. And that's all I have for you guys, and I'll be doing all these updates now regularly. I just took some time off, so I'll catch up with you guys again.